Okay, welcome, and let's take a look at how to play What's Up by 4 Non Blondes. Iconic song from the 90s, from my youth, and probably yours if you're watching this video. Linda Perry, fantastic songwriter in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and look her up. She's since 4 Non Blondes, she's done so many fantastic things. She's an iconic songwriter. And the song seems so simple, only uses 3 chords really. You'll notice I've got a capo on now. We're going to look at how to play it with a capo on the 2nd fret, and I'll show you how to play it with open chords as well. Because if you listen to the intro of this song, you'll hear that there are actually 2 guitars. If you listen very carefully, I think what I'm hearing is there's one acoustic guitar playing it with a capo here and playing these chord shapes. That's a G shape. And you'll notice I'm playing my G, I'll show you on this camera, you'll notice I'm playing my G with 3 fingers, my pinky is out of the picture. Sometimes I'll play a G chord like that. But I want to hear this note, this. And it's a C sharp note, that, if we're in the key of A. And it's quite prominent, well, or at least it's definitely there if you listen to the original recording. So I'm going to play my G chord like that, because I want to hear both this note and this one. So at least when I've got the capo here at the 2nd fret, that's how I'm playing this G chord. Remember, with the capo here, you have to add 2 semitones to that G, so really it's an A that's sounding. Bear that in mind when we look at how to play the song with open chords. But for the moment, when we've got the capo on, I'll use the names of the chords of the shapes that we're playing. I think that's easier for most people to think about. So we've got this G chord shape here, and then it goes to an A minor shape, and then a C shape, and then a G. And then we go back to the beginning of our loop, and it's again G, A minor, C, and back to G. And our rhythm, our strumming pattern is just like this. With the strings muted, let's just practice the rhythm. Okay, so our basic rhythm that we want to start with when we're learning this is and then by subtracting some of those, or by not touching the strings on some of those beats, we'll make it like this. Okay, a little slower. Okay, and you'll notice that that's the rhythm that she plays on the G chord, but when we go to the A minor and the C, she plays it slightly differently. If you want to, if you feel ready to mix and match 2 different rhythms, the other pattern that she plays on the A minor and the C chord is it's not exactly the same, it's a little bit different. Watch, the first one on the G chord is this. And on the A minor and the C, she plays. So she does that little before the. Let me play it with the chords so you can see what I mean. so she adds in a little upstroke. You'll notice also that I was playing the chords with some little embellishments. So before the chord changes, she adds in some extra notes, right? If this is a little advanced for you, then don't feel that you have to do it, but it might make an interesting challenge for you if you want to get the song sounding a little bit more like the original. So what she's doing is on the G chord, on the last couple of strums of the G chord, she's adding in this note here. So she's lifting off, well, to play it with the capo here, what you have to do is lift off your first finger from your 5th string and put it down on the 2nd fret of your 3rd string, that's this note. In fact, it's a B note, and it sounds like this. Let me show you that again. Okay, so you end up with your fingers in this position, with your first finger playing on the 3rd string, this note here. And that leads us into our A minor chord. Now the little embellishment that she adds into the A minor chord is by putting your pinky down on the 5th fret here, playing that E note. Then we go to the C chord and it's the same thing. Pinky down on that note there, 5th fret of your 2nd string, it's an E. And back to G. And I think if you dare to play those little embellishments, practice them a little bit, you'll find it's not so hard. It's a little bit tricky. If you try to play it exactly the way that it sounds on the recording, if you try to play it, getting that note into your G chord before moving to the A minor, that's a little bit of a tricky move. And I think it's time to take the capo off and show you the other way to play it. It's much easier to get that sound, it's much easier to incorporate that note if we play it without the capo. Let me show you what the chords would be then, playing in the open position with no capo. We're going to start on an A chord. And you can see it's much easier to get that. All you have to do to play that little embellishment before the chord change is lift up your 3rd finger. It's much easier than trying to do that move on the G shape. Our chords are going to be this time an A. Really it's the same chord as before, but we're getting there by playing an A shape instead of by playing a G shape with a capo here. So the sound is the same. Then we go to a B minor. So for this one you need a bar chord. It's a B minor bar chord. So that's taking your A minor shape, which normally maybe you'd play it like this in the open position. You're going to play it with these 3 fingers, same notes, different fingers, and we're going to shift it up 2 frets and use our 1st finger to make a bar. And you may have worked out that the final chord that you need now is a D. As always, taking care just to play those 4 strings on our D chord. Okay, so it sounds like this. Okay, so you'll notice the embellishments this time, some of them are easier, some of them are more difficult. There are advantages and disadvantages to playing it both ways, right? On the A, that embellishment, that little note, getting this B note in there is much, much easier. You just have to lift up your 3rd finger. Okay. But then it's a little bit tricky jumping to that B minor bar chord. Honestly, I find that a little bit tricky. I had to practice it and it still isn't sounding perfect. And then what you have to do to get that embellishment, to get that E note in there before the chord change, you have to lift up the finger that's barring, you have to lift up your 1st finger. You might find that a little bit tricky depending on your experience. Then it jumps to that D chord. And back to A. So all together. Okay, that's the idea of the song. And really for the acoustic guitar, that just repeats round for the whole song. As I say, in the very beginning of the song, you can hear 2 acoustic guitars, one playing it with the capo and one playing it without. You choose what's better for you. If you're playing it in a band, then maybe you want to consider that. If you've got 2 guitars, if you're playing it with someone else, it sounds nice to combine the different voicings, right? So you can have one guitar playing it with in the open position and one guitar playing it with the capo. It sounds nice. So the next lesson would be to take a look at the electric guitar part as well. It could be quite interesting, and it's not too difficult to play. So let me know in the comments if you want me to show you the electric guitar part of the song as well. Okay, and any questions, leave them down there in the comments as well, and I will get back to you if I can. Okay, thanks very much. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. Bye. Let me do that again just to show you the ending better. So with our chords in the open position, it sounds like this. So with our chords in the open position, it sounds like this. So with our chords in the open position, it sounds like this. It's harder. So with our chords in the open position, it sounds like this. So with our chords in the open position, it sounds like this.